right, we'll call to order the November 27th, 2025 Planning Board meeting. It's 6 o'clock, so we'll start. In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge that the land upon which we gather is the unceded Mi'kmaq territory, Epequet, Prince Edward Island. Mi'kmaq is covered by the historic treaties of peace and friendship. We pay our respects to the Indigenous Mi'kmaq people who have occupied this island for over 12,000 years, past, present, and future. So before I begin, I'd like to highlight the purpose of our meetings and our roles here. We strive to uphold the values of the Three Rivers community, innovation, and inclusivity. We have a special town, and Planning Board is committed to contributing to the sustainable growth. Planning Board meetings are essential to our government process, providing transparency in decision-making. Elected officials discuss finance, events, town maintenance, design, and bylaws, and then vote. As chair, I lead this and will break ties if the vote is needed. If a tie vote if it's needed. Residents are encouraged to attend and participate, ensuring everyone can be part of the governance process. We value your input and aim to maintain a respectful and professional environment. Personal attacks and disruptions won't be tolerated. Let's make these meetings a reflection of our pride in Three Rivers. Also, please note this meeting is being officially recorded by the town of Three Rivers. Unauthorized recording, photographing, or broadcasting of these proceedings is not permitted without the consent of council or the CAO. Thank you for your respect and your participation. All right, we have a motion for approval of the agenda, please. Cameron, second. Sean, any questions, comments? All right, so a vote for approval. Okay. All right, do we have any disclosure of conflict of interest on anything on tonight's agenda? By staff or boards? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to item 4, the adoption of the October 23rd Planning Board minutes. Could I have a motion to put the minutes on the floor? From Sean?
Minutes be approved as circulated.
Okay, and second? Okay. Before we approve them, there is one numerical error, and that is in 7.1. The PID for 7.1 is, we listed it as 155688. It's 1155688. So it was corrected before it went to council. So council approved the right PID, but we need to make a correction of that in the minutes. So that's the PID. So any other omissions, corrections from anybody? Okay, we're all in favor of approving the minutes? Okay, great. Any business arising from the minutes that we'd like to discuss? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to our presentations and delegations. We have 2 speakers tonight, and our first speaker is Matt Llewellyn. If you could come to the microphone, turn the microphone on, state your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes. Welcome. Just push a button at the bottom there and the other side, yeah. There you go.
There we go. My name's Matt Llewellyn. I actually live in Clyde River. Do you want like the full address? Or sorry.
That's okay.
116 Caleb Drive, Clyde River. Anyway, so my name's Matt Llewellyn. Appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight. Addressing a couple of mobile homes located at parcel number 244483. First, I want to acknowledge I fully take responsibility. I started development on these sites prior to approval, so that's on me 100%. There was a little bit of an issue with the people that were going to transport these mobile homes for me, and they pretty well gave me a now or never timeline. So I went ahead even though I shouldn't have, so that's fully on me. I didn't plan on doing anything other than getting them to the site. We didn't put any septic wells, anything like that in. So the main purpose for my request to get a variance for these is basically to be able to provide a little bit of affordable, family-friendly housing within Three Rivers. Having a quick look online and whatnot, very, very unaffordable options right now around. I found two that were over $2,900 a month for a two-bedroom apartment. I'm planning on doing much, much less than that, somewhere around $1,000 a month. So these mobile homes, they were older mobile homes. We do extensive renovations on these. I've done a few of these before. And so they really don't look like a mobile home. The pictures that I submitted, they look a lot more like what you guys would allow, like a mini home. They're on full over an acre lot, so it's not like I'm trying to jam 12 of these on a small little parcel. They're just supposed to be a nice little two-bedroom family home, affordable rent, and that's kind of what I strive to do with this project. So it'd be awesome if we could grant that variance, but yeah, my intention is just to provide something a little more affordable for people, and because I was able to get these homes at a little bit of a discounted rate, and do some TLC myself. I own a construction business, so I'm well versed in that. You know, I'm just trying to create something a little more affordable for residents around. And essentially, you know, I totally can understand mobile homes. They have a bad name. These have brand new steel gable roofs on them, vinyl siding, brand new vinyl windows, nothing that really sticks out as something like an older mobile home would make one think. So I definitely try to keep nice properties for my tenants, and yeah, just my main goal is to kind of try to keep rents lower for people, make it a little more affordable, family friendly, your own piece of land that you can grow up or raise a family on, rather than being stuck in an unaffordable apartment, you know, no lot or anything like that. So yeah, that's pretty well it. Just trying to hopefully make this happen. So that's all I have for you.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for that? Okay, thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Okay, our second speaker is Janice Macbeth. You come to the mic, please. Welcome.
Good evening. Tonight, my topic, I'm going to be speaking on the development application for the new hospital. I believe that's 7.7. And I had a look at the property permit. I have a copy of it here. And I'm wondering why the zone existing is agricultural. The zone proposed is community. And my question to the chair is, why is it not institutionally zoned?
You can do your presentation and then we can chat.
Okay. The reason I asked that question is because when I looked at the docket for tonight, I first went to the official plan of Three Rivers to see which way it should be zoned. And lo and behold, on page 46 of the official plan, 5.5 institutional, the institutional land use designation is intended to accommodate certain special land uses at a regional scale, including but not limited to hospitals. So that's one thing. Then I went to the community uses and settlement areas, which is also partially referenced in the planner's design statement. And he comments about the community uses and how it facilitates for hospitals. Actually, in the official plan, it does not, the community uses in settlement areas, it does not officially list a hospital. The institutional zone in the bylaw of Three Rivers includes a community center. And when you go to the community center, a community center includes a medical facility. So therein lies my controversy in my brain as to why we are zoning this as community. The only place where I can find community is in the zoning bylaw uses. So, that's my statement. And I believe that there is a tremendous amount of confusion between the bylaw and the official plan, as I've just pointed out to you. We all know that there's issues with the bylaw and the official plan, and we all know that none of you in this room were responsible for writing this document. It was presented to us by FOTEM, a company out of Ontario at the time. This document is not serving anyone in our community, planning board, council, the provincial government, or the present minister. It is not serving us at all. It is confusing. There are multiple issues with it, not only regarding zoning, but specifically between zoning community and zoning institutional. I am asking the planning board at this time to please work with the provincial government and a certified registered planner to get these documents in line with other island community zoning practices and standards. So we as a community can have confidence in this process, the official plan, and the bylaws. Charlottetown has a great example on its website. So you asked me to wait until the end, and I'd like an answer to my question, why this building is being zoned community.
So in the development bylaws, we have a list of what's permitted in each zone.
Right.
Hospitals are permitted in community zone. We have an application to rezone this property to community for a hospital.
So I'm making note, in the official plan, it is not there. And I will also make note once again, it is only found in the institutional section of the official plan. And just to clarify then, in the institutional zone, just I want clarity. Community center, in the definition, it includes a medical center. So can a medical center or medical facility also be found in the institutional zone? Based on what's in the official plan and what's listed in the zone here and what's also listed in the definitions.
Okay, so I'll repeat. The hospital, your question is about the hospital.
Yep, and why it's not
permitted-
zoned.
It's permitted in the community zone, and we have an application to rezone this tonight. I will ask the planning department to get back to you on your other issues.
You don't need to bother, because
Well, you're gonna stand in front of us.
I can read, and I 100%, I just read to you from your own documents that a hospital can be allowed in either the community zone or the institutional zone, along with other things that can cross borders in these two zones. It needs to be corrected. This town needs to take this seriously. It is a serious issue. And I'm going to leave you what the town of Three Rivers approved, you know. I'm going to leave this with you. There's your Brudenell official plan, where you approved a hospital, et cetera, et cetera. So, once again, I'm excited about a new hospital, but I don't want to see a public one and a private one. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's move on to 7.1. Could somebody turn the mic off, please? So 7.1. This application concerns the application for a major variance up to 98% for front lot line setback right-of-way to accommodate the siting of a new single-unit dwelling on Poppy Lane, PID 897900. The key planning issues associated with this proposal are considered to be the need for a variance in the context of the criteria of the official plan and the criteria for a major variance proposals within the development bylaw. The applicant's land has a steep slope to the river, as well as a 24-foot right-of-way reserved for a future road if required. In order to reduce the impacts on the buffer zone and the neighbor's property, the applicant is requesting a reduced setback. This is a site-specific challenge and out of the control of the applicant. The proposed variance is justifiable under the variance criteria and reduces impacts on neighboring properties and potential impacts near the buffer zone. The proposed major variance is aligned with the town's official plan and development bylaw. It addresses site constraints without disrupting the surrounding area's character and enables desirable development of the property. The proposed major variance for the dwelling is recommended for approval, subject to conditions. So the town of, where am I? Okay, so the Planning and Development Officer therefore recommends that the Planning Board recommend to Mayor and Council to approve the application for a major variance of up to 98% for the front lot line setbacks to accommodate the siting of a new single-unit dwelling on Poppy Lane, PID 897900. Number 1 is the approved plans, the application form revised October 24th, 2025, the site plan location revised April 14th, 2025, and the floor plan and elevations received October 24, 2025. Could I have a motion to put this on the floor, please? Moved by Cameron. Second by Louis. Okay, discussion. Sean, your mic.
So, I guess my concern is, the right-of-way. I'm not sure if it's a private right-of-way or it's the old rails to trails. It seems to say both, but then it seems to come to an abrupt end, that right-of-way, and you would think that it would continue if it was rails to trails. That being the case, if the setback was granted, it would appear to be granted from the right-of-way. I'm not sure that we have to do that if we are set back 25 feet from the roadway, which is where I would think the setback should be measured from, so that we would already be 25 feet back from the road. So, but, I mean, you want to put a house, you know, abutting the rails to trails with everybody going by, I suppose that's fine, but it's not what I would think would be the best solution in this
Okay.
case.
Can we ask Patrick to address that, please?
So I can speak to that, Chair. So the current driveway and road goes along the rails to trails. It is in the right of way. So it crosses over the rails to trails and then runs along the rails to trails right away. So when this was surveyed many years ago, they surveyed off a reserved right of way
Okay.
in case they ever were told this driveway needs to be moved by the province. They have somewhere to put that driveway. So initially, the applicant wanted to put the cottage at 20 feet from the property line, but that would be 4 feet into this reserved right away. So we have now got to where we are now with 25 feet from the property line, so that keeps that reserved right away clear.
Does that answer? Go ahead.
So my understanding, the right-of-way is the confusing part of this to me. So he would be at least 25 feet from the roadway. The right-of-way is a reserve in case the road needed to be widened, or is it part of the rails to trails, which is going to be almost there forever? If he's 25 feet back from the road, then he doesn't need a 98% variance. He only needs a 50% variance because the setback from a roadway is 50 feet. So why, I'm just wondering why we have our setback so high. I mean, the variance should, to my mind, be only a 50% variance, not 98.0%. I don't know why we have to take into account the right-of-way.
Again, Patrick.
Yeah, so we discussed this, and since it is a reserved right away and can become subdivided off at some point without basically our control, where that's where it's up to 98% of a variance, which would be within 1 foot. So that currently the driveway runs along the Confederation Trail. It wouldn't be widened if so that reserved right of way is if they ever were told you need to move that driveway onto your own property, that's when the reserved right of way would kick into place and they would then use that as their driveway. So they could potentially in the future be within 1 foot of a road or driveway.
Okay, Cameron?
So the reserve right-of-way is in the lots, those 3 lots, or the reserve right-of-way is in addition to those 3 lots? No, it runs across the 3 lots. It's in the 3 lots. And it would eventually be subdivided if needed to be. But because the property owners are owned by this, well, I think 1 lot's owned by somebody else, but the other 2 are family members. Yeah, so, yeah, technically, I guess he's gonna be a foot off the right of way if and when it has to be used. Okay?
Sean?
I guess my confusion lies in the fact that a right-of-way does not convey any type of title. So in order to subdivide that off, it would be the owner of Lot 2 who would be the only one that could do that subdivision. And of course, it's too narrow to be of any use to anybody. A right-of-way only conveys a use, like an easement of some kind. Property, maybe the power poles go through there, or the road is a right-of-way. It could be for the rails to trails, that could be, but if it's only a right-of-way, then I would think ownership of the property on Lot 2, the ownership of that land is, the right-of-way is owned by someone who owns Lot 2, and the right-of-way conveys some sort of usage through there. But there's no ownership that would go with a right-of-way. It's just a legal agreement providing an easement. So that's my confusion, I guess.
Do you have further comment, Patrick?
Yeah, I'll just add to that. So easements, we don't have setbacks from, but property lines we do. So if they were to subdivide off that reserved right away, then that would become the new property line where the setback would be taken.
Okay. Does that help?
No. No, it doesn't help me at all. So who owns the right-of-way? Does not the property owner own all that land subject to a right-of-way? Or is there some other person that owns the right-of-way as a separate piece of land?
Yep.
So all property owners that have access to those lots would have right away or rights over that easement, that reserved right away. So currently, all property owners are not using their property; they're using the province's Confederation Trail right away to access their properties. But they do have that in place in case they do need it in the future.
Louis, do you have anything?
So basically, the 3 property owners have the same, like they basically all own it. Is that what you're saying, Pat? Is that what you're saying? Or?
So the reserved right-of-way is there for all property owners, so
Yeah.
they can access their properties in the future if needed. If that needs to be removed from the rails to trails, like existing driveway.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
We ready to move this ahead to council?
I'm putting my faith in the planning department.
So in favor of moving it ahead? Aye. Okay, we'll move it ahead. Okay, 7.2. This application is for a special development permit for a 28-foot by 37-foot accessory structure to be located in the front yard. The proposed structure is located at 113 South DeGrosse Marsh Road, PID 158360. Part 5.2.8 of the development bylaw confirms that council holds the authority to determine development permits for accessory buildings in the front yard locations. The minor variance being sought is for 2 additional feet to the height of the building. The minor variance can be approved by the development officer provided no objections have been received. The key planning issues associated with this proposal are therefore considered to be whether the proposed accessory building will have the general standard use and appearance compatible with the adjacent buildings or structures, subject to conditions as the council may impose. The dwelling is situated in a large rural parcel exceeding 10 acres. The proposed 2-bay garage would be located on the left side of the dwelling and within the front yard. The location of the dwelling is well screened, and so would be the proposed garage. With over 800 feet of setback available from South DeGrosse Marsh Road and being screened from open views, there is no concern regarding this proposal. This proposal is therefore recommended for approval, subject to conditions. So the planning and development officer therefore recommends that planning board recommend to mayor and council to approve the development permit application for a 28-foot by 37-foot accessory structure garage with a minor variance for height to be located in the front yard at 133 South DeGrosse Marsh Road, PID 158360, subject to the following conditions. Condition 1, the permit is valid for 12 months from the date of issue. 2, any proposed changes or revisions must be submitted to the town for approval. And 3, the following constitutes the approved plans. Development permit application submitted November 3rd, 2025, elevation plans submitted November 3rd, 2025, and a floor plan submitted November 4th, 2025. Have a motion to put this on the floor. Moved by Sean, second by Cameron, and discussion. Go ahead, Sean.
So what I'm to understand by looking at this is that we're putting an accessory building in the front yard of property that is waterfront property, so that it wouldn't block the view of the house or in any way. And we've done this in numerous occasions before. We sort of make that almost an exception to doing it, and that's why I've moved the motion. I think it's a good idea to put these in the front yard when there's waterfront property.
Any comments on this side? No. Okay, we're in agreement to move it ahead. Okay. We'll move it to council. So 7.3. This application concerns the siting of a mobile home. The mobile home has already been sited on the lot, which is part of an existing 4-lot subdivision. The local area is characteristically rural and zoned for agricultural uses, which include residential development but exclude the siting of mobile homes. Staff became aware that the unit was sited without a permit, and a stop work notice was issued on October 28, 2025. The key planning issues associated with this proposal are considered to be the siting of a mobile home outside of a designated mobile home zoning and housing need. While the need for housing is acknowledged, the mobile homes are only permitted within the designated residential mobile home, the RM zones, and must be serviced by central water and sewer, conditions that could not be met in this case. The subject property is zoned agriculture, where mobile homes are not permitted. The proposal is not consistent with the town's planning policies and regulations, and refusal is recommended. The proposal is recommended for refusal. Okay, so I'm going to read the conclusions and recommendations. Although this application responds to the current need for additional housing, the siting of mobile home is governed by a specific policies within the Town of Three Rivers official plan and development bylaw. The official plan restricts new mobile home development to RM zones established within the settlement areas in addition to meeting central servicing requirements which the site cannot achieve. In addition to the official plan conflict, the development bylaw explicitly limits the siting of mobile homes to RM zone only. The bylaw does not include mobile homes as either a permitted or special use in an agricultural zone. With servicing constraints and restrictive zoning in place, only a change to the content of the official plan and development bylaw would allow the unit to be lawfully permitted, providing favorable amendments were made to both development plan documents. Given those conflicts with both the official plan and the development bylaw, the Planning and Development Officer recommends that the application be refused. The Planning and Development Officer therefore recommend that Planning Board recommend to Mayor and Council to refuse the siting of a mobile home at Lot 1, Wim Road, PID 244483, and the refused plans, the application form and drawings received October 27th, and the site plans received November 5th, 2025. Can I get a motion to put this on the floor to discuss? Cameron, second. Louis? All right, discussion. Go ahead, Cameron.
So, I know we're gonna be in the same predicament that we were in before. First question is, it's zoned agricultural, but has it been subdivided?
And answer that, Chair, the lots have been subdivided, final approval has been granted on the lots.
And is subdivided as an agricultural zone?
What do you mean? They're agriculturally zoned, yeah.
Wouldn't it have to be, it doesn't have to be residential? Okay.
Single-family dwellings are permitted in the in the agriculture zone.
Yeah, and the others, he has renovated them, that they look more like a mini home than they are a mobile home, but I know the classification is mobile home. And I don't know if the recertification to get them changed from mobile to mini home or modular home or whatever is practical to do or not. Anyway, that's my concern.
Go ahead.
So this brings about a couple of bugaboos I've had for a while. One is the allowing of residential properties to be developed on agricultural land. My position has always been that they should be rezoned before that happens. The second thing is our bylaws are pretty clear that this cannot happen. We cannot have mobile homes in agricultural zones. They should be on service lots. However, both this board and town council has approved them in similar situations. So I would ask the staff if there is any general differentiation that they can make between what we are looking at tonight and what we looked at, 3 months ago in a similar situation. Is there any substantive difference from what we did then to what we are doing now? Because I have a firm belief that all applicants should be treated equally in the process. That being said, my vote was against it then, and it will be against it now, because that is what our bylaw says, notwithstanding the fact that the town is attempting to change our plan and bylaw to allow this to happen. If we make our decisions based on future law, which has been done, I think we run into all kinds of problems. I made those concerns known 3 months ago. I still have those problems. So I will be voting against this motion, notwithstanding the fact that it has been allowed in the past. We need to have equal treatment under the law. We cannot be a board that picks winners and losers. So I would invite the other members of council to pass this, although I will vote against it. Thank you.
ahead, Louis.
Has there been any movement on the actual, the last time we made this decision on the former, request to place mobile homes on lots, farm lots? Has there been any movement on the bylaw that we're looking at that possibly we could change the ruling on that?
We haven't moved ahead with the bylaw changes at this point. We still haven't got approval for the last round of bylaw amendments that we asked for, so, you know, it would require an official plan and bylaw change, so it's not simple. And my understanding is that council is not ready to propose any more changes till we can deal with the ones we dealt with extensively last year.
Yeah, I can understand where Sean is coming from because
Yep.
it is putting us in a bad spot at this point.
It is.
We're trying to please people that are trying to get homes for themselves, and then at the same time, we're going against their bylaws.
Yep.
Something has to change, but it's a matter of timing, I guess.
It's a big process.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah. I totally sympathetic that we need housing. I spend a lot of time on helping people with housing, and I totally get that, but we also have rules to follow.
so the final decision lies with council, right?
With council, yep. So the question tonight is, are we in favor of planning board's recommend to refuse? So that's a vote for agreeing, saying we're agreeing with planning board. A yes vote is agreeing with planning board's. Planning staff's recommendation, sorry. Yeah, thank you, Cameron, yeah. Yes, Sean?
Just one question of staff. Is there any substantial differentiation between these applications and the ones that were approved of 3 months ago? Anything where we could draw a sharp line?
So the two properties that we discussed in the past had previously had mini homes on them. And, my apologies, thank you, Patrick, had mobile homes on them and had existing infrastructure for those. And so that was the point at which, you know, council felt they should do it. And it was considered that it was not like a non-conforming use. This is a separate issue when it's a newly created spot. Go ahead.
Yeah, Madam Chair, thank you for that, thank you for that. My other concern was when that was passed, and I think it was 3 months ago, could be more. The other thing we did was we allowed 2 residences on one property, a real jump from what our bylaw allows. And so at that point in time, in order to meet the housing crisis, we basically threw out the rule book. And so I know the rule book is there. I sympathize with the need for housing. I just can't bring myself to vote in favor of anything that's not in conformity with our rules, because we are the gatekeepers in some respects. I don't agree with the way the rules are set up. I'd like to see them changed, but I don't know how we get around doing one thing for one person and not doing the same thing for another. I have no idea how we look ourselves in the mirror and say it can happen one way and not happen the other. That being said, my vote will be consistent with what I voted the last time. Thanks.
Anything else from Cameron, Louis? So the question is, are we in favor of agreeing with planning board and moving this ahead to council as a refusal? Right? That's the Yeah. Planning staff's recommendation. And Louis, move it ahead as agreeing with the planning staff as a refusal? Cameron? Sean?
It's a refusal for me.
Okay, so we will move it ahead to planning board as a refusal. Or to council as a refusal. Sorry?
That's an official vote?
Yep.
What's your question?
They're just agreeing, it's just carried, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be a vote. 'Cause
It does
they
have to be a
didn't
vote.
change.
It has to be a vote that they're recommending. It's the same as anything, even though it's a refusal, they have to vote, has to be a consensus.
Yeah.
So it just
Yeah.
carried.
That's right, yeah.
Okay. So do we want to go through this again? Okay, 7.4. This application concerns the siting of a mobile home. The mobile home has already been sited on a lot which is part of an existing 4-lot subdivision. The local area is characteristically rural and zoned for agriculture uses, which include residential development, but not excluding the siting, the siting of mobile homes. Staff became aware that the unit was sited without a permit and a stop work notice was issued on October 28th, 2025. The key planning issues associated with this proposal are considered to be the siting of a mobile home outside of the designated mobile home zoning and the housing need. While the need for housing is acknowledged, mobile homes are only permitted within the designated RM zones and must be serviced by central water and sewer, conditions that could not be met in this case. The subject property is zoned agricultural, where mobile homes are not permitted. The proposal is not consistent with the town's planning policies and regulations, and refusal is recommended. And so, the planning department therefore recommends that planning board recommend to mayor and council to refuse the siting of a mobile home at Lot 2, Wim Road, PID 244483. Refuse plans, the application form and drawings received October 27th, 2025, and the site plan received November 5th, 2025. Could I have a motion to put this on the floor? Cameron, second? Sean, thank you. And it's the discussion we just had. It's the same issue. So if there's no more discussion, we vote in favor of the planning recommendation to recommend to council for refusal? Are we in favor of that? Aye. Okay. All right, we'll move on to 7.5. The application concerns the erection of 2 buildings comprised of a 700 square foot unit storage building and a larger building featuring 3 units totaling 3,600 square feet. The development is located within Pools Corner Industrial Park. The key planning issues associated with this proposal are considered to be multiple main buildings and the impact of activity with an area designated for light industrial uses, economic development, policy, and objectives. Proposed at Pools Corner Industrial Park is consistent with the Town of Three Rivers official plan and fully compliant with the development bylaw. The site is designated for light industrial use and supports key policy objectives related to the rural economic development and job creation. The development meets all zoning and performance standards with no concern raised by the planning department staff regarding the impact of the development. The proposal is recommended for approval subject to permit conditions. And so, the planning board recommends to mayor and council to approve the erection of 2 buildings comprised of 700 square foot, 12 unit storage building and a larger building featuring 3 units totaling 3,600 square feet at lot 03-2 Milton Pool Court, PID 163493. Condition 1, the permit is valid for 12 months from the date of issue. 2, all work must be undertaken in accordance with the approved plans, including the use, location, and dimensions provided. Any proposed changes or revisions must be submitted to the development officer for approval. 3, outdoor storage or garbage collection and/or recycling bins shall not be permitted within the front yard of the lot. 4, garbage collection and/or recycling bins shall be screened by an opaque fence with a minimum height of 1.8 meters. 5, silt fencing will be erected on the property boundaries prior to and for the duration of construction. Note to applicant, you are advised that the 3 shop units hereby permitted shall be limited to uses and activities as defined by the permitted shop uses identified by the development bylaw within the light industrial zone. Motion to put this on the floor. Louis, second. Cameron, discussion. Sean, go ahead.
Well, I'm in favor of this, but I have a concern about a 700 square foot building with 12 units involved. They seem a little small. What's the plan?
Yeah, go ahead, Patrick.
I agree. These are also, I thought they're quite small units, but I think there might be a market out there for people looking just for a small spot to store a couple things, and the businesses themselves will probably end up using some of those units.
Yeah, it's pretty small. Any other comments, questions? Okay, in favor of moving this ahead to council? Okay. 7.6. So this is a request for council for a public rezoning meeting. I don't know how much to read. It's the, I don't really want to read that whole thing, do I? Okay. All right. The Planning and Development Officer therefore recommends the Planning Board recommend to Mayor and Council to hold public meeting for the proposed rezoning of land from high-density R3 to community at 406 McIntyre Avenue, Montague, PID 849158. And this is the property that the where the ambulance bay is, the EMS bay is. So a motion to put that on the floor from Cameron, second. Sean, thank you. Discussion. Go ahead.
So I take it, Madam Chairman, this is just basically housekeeping. Nothing's really being moved. We're just bringing the EMS station into conformance with our bylaw, and the usage is under our bylaw. Is that
My
correct?
understanding that the plan is that we need to rezone this because it was a non-conforming use. We rezone it.
Yeah.
They demolish the building and make themselves a more efficient building once we've rezoned it. But they can't do that now because of the non-conforming
Okay.
aspect. And they would like to have a more efficient building, and it's a great location. Any comments on this side, or we'll recommend to council they start this process? And it starts with the, with a public meeting and goes from there.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Did I miss something? Cameron and Sean. Yep. Okay, 7.7. Again, this is a request to council for a public rezoning of PIDs 1186501 and 165605. So the planning and development officer therefore recommends to planning board recommend to mayor and council to hold a public meeting for the proposed rezoning of land east of the AA McDonald Highway, Route 4, PIDs 1186501 and 165605. Have a motion to put this on the floor, please? From Cameron, thank you. And second from Louis. Okay, so this is the beginning of the proposal to move from agriculture to community lands for the proposed new KCMH. Comments? Comments, questions? Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I would take it that this application was done by the province. And so we have no control how they framed how they wanted it to be rezoned. It was their choice to make the application as community property as opposed to, say, institutional property. Is that correct? No, not their recommendation? Well, they made the application.
They made the Can I speak on that?
Go ahead. Yep.
They made the application, but the permitted use falls under community zone in our development bylaw. So so for a hospital, it has to be under community zoning. It can't be under institutional zoning. It's not there in the permitted uses if you look under the development bylaw. Okay.
Go ahead.
My point is that we didn't submit the application. It was done by the province.
That's correct.
Yes,
That's it.
to change it from agriculture to community to allow for the hospital. Any comments, gentlemen? We're good. Anything further? So we'll, go ahead.
Obviously, we're having some problems with the naming the community zones and the institutional zones. We're having issues with the province, as I've noted in the paper here this week. I wonder if we could probably get the minister here and explain to us just what the situation is here, because we've done our homework, we've done what we're supposed to do to make these zones as workable as possible, and there seems to be some confusion with the province. We'd like to get a explanation of how we should proceed going forward. Is there any way we can get the minister to address the planning board?
Well, it's, it is an issue. The term institutional zone was inherited from the community of Brudenell when they called the zone an institutional zone, and there are two institutional zones in the town of Three Rivers. One is the nuns in Brudenell and one is the monks in Heatherdale. And those are the only two zones, and we have a limited amount of things that can be permitted in those zones.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a name. It's not, the difficulty has been that we, our official plan and bylaws were approved with no problem in May of 2023. And now, a year later, it
have
seems
issues.
to be a problem. When I met with the minister, he suggested that we make them community zones. I'm totally opposed to that, because if we made them community zones, they would be permitted then to have hospitals and police stations and those kinds of things,
Yes, and
which the residents have no appetite for.
And Madam Chair, that's exactly right.
Yeah,
We've been approached here several times that they certainly against anything that might
yeah, and so the
create
residents aren't in
create
favor
their
of
own
that. Yeah,
community, so
yeah.
where do we go from here? I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. One of the things that was brought by the concerns from the residents when we were going through our proposed amendments was what can be built in those zones. And we, as as planning board and staff and then council made much stricter, made what can happen in an institutional zone much stricter. So we said nothing at desk level. You know, everything would have to come through a public process of planning board and council. But that doesn't seem to be good enough for those who are opposing it. So I'm not sure how we respond. But I will take it up again with our CAO and pass along your comments, and we'll see what we can do.
Well, I think we're gonna have to talk to somebody. I mean, we made a decision to make things stricter than what the province is actually doing themselves, and it's not
Yep.
acceptable.
Well, it appears that those that are opposed to the zones are opposed to them, and I don't know how we can move forward from that. If we are to start changing names, then we're looking at opening up the official plan and bylaws, and that's a lot of work. It's, it involves a lot of meetings and a lot of public consultation, and it's a lot of work, so we'll have to talk with council and the mayor and the CAO and see how we can proceed.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you, Madam Chair.
yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Sean.
So, Madam Chair, I don't have any real problems moving this on to the public part of the process, public meeting part of the process. It would seem to me that is the place for robust discussion to take place. But this is mostly a procedural motion. You know, let the people who have concerns about the actual proposal to change the zoning, let them voice their concerns at the public meeting. That's what it's for. And if we can get a minister there or the province, obviously the province is the applicant in this situation, I would expect that the applicant should be there to defend the reasons why the application is going before a public meeting.
So we move this recommendation ahead, in favor? Okay. All right. And unless anybody has, one other thing, our next meeting will not be on Christmas Day. We will be holding it a week earlier on December 18th.
Not on the 25th?
No, I'm sorry, Sean. I like you, but not that much. We will be holding it the 25th. So motion for adjournment, please.
So moved.
Okay, Sean, and second by Louis, and thank you very much for coming. Appreciate it.